Welcome to another edition of the Man Cave, where we give our opinion of just about everything. Welcome back, everybody. It looks like we took a little pause for the cause. It wasn't planned, but it happened. So we just gotta re up where we going, and and just kind of keep going where we left off. Life happens and stuff happens. Got to be a little bit of a springtime thing. People start to vacation and vacations and graduations and all that's going on. Lots of changes going on with our cast and crew that we won't get into, but hey, we back. Good to have y'all back, man.
Yes, sir.
Today we are
Good to
going
be
to
back.
talk about what'd you say, Kelly?
Good to be back.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about kind of a two-topic deal. We're gonna, since it's so close to Father's Day, we're gonna get into fathering from our own perspective. And I know we had similar shows about this before, but what we want to do is kind of get into it from how hard it is to father in today's society. Today's society is so geared toward fathers not being there, and partially it is because some fathers are not there, but it just makes it double hard when a well-to-do father that's doing what he needs to do, is doing his thing, and the pressures of society make it harder. I could think of a couple of things off the top of my head. Like, remember when Black Lives Matter came out, and it sounded like it was something in defense of Black lives, when it's actually a whole lesbian kind of thing where they was trying to dismiss the fathers out of the home, and it was on their website that they wanted to do that, but they have since taken it down. Even the welfare system, like the movie Claudine, she had 6 children. She wanted to get married, and she had a dilemma. Do I tell the welfare system I'm about to get married because you can't get welfare if you got a man in the house? And I kind of understand that, but if that man and that woman are not making acceptable wage, you still need some governmental assistance, but it's geared toward that man being absent. So it just makes it harder. And in addition to all of that, that man still has to relate to his wife. He still has to raise his children. So that's a job in itself, and we shouldn't have to deal with all of that. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to get into that with the bros. But before we get into that, I'm going to introduce the next topic, and we're going to talk about that first, and then I'll tell you who's on the cast, like y'all don't already know. Our second topic is Juneteenth. Juneteenth is the day after Father's Day, June 19th. Got some interesting facts on that I don't think too many people know. The thing about Juneteenth that I'm mad about is that I found out about Juneteenth as an adult. And it's been celebrations all over the country ever since I was little, and I was never taught about Juneteenth. I didn't find out about it till I think I was in college or something. And when I first heard about it, I was like, well, what's that? Wait a minute. What was that? And I should have been embracing it since I was a child. And we're going to get into the reasons why that was hitting. Just like anything that we accomplished. So those are the things. We're going to hit Juneteenth first, then why it's hard to be a father in today's society. But first, we got to introduce our cast and crew. First is the judge that sits high and looks low. When he speaks, everybody turns their head because he got such important things to say. Brother Kelly is in the house.
Good evening. Good evening. It's good to be back, man. I missed you guys. I apologize. I ain't been around.
It's all right. We understand, bro. We
Yeah.
understand. None of us has been around for a minute.
Right. Right.
So,
Same boat, bro.
yeah. Next is El DeBarge. Going out and making his own thing. No, I'm just be messing with you, Damon. Damon has his own podcast called
Dude, man, I swear, man. My own cousin, Kelly, my own cousin. 47 years I've known this man.
Them kin
And
folks
my
against you.
own cousin, man.
called Cutting It Up with D. Randall. And tell them where they can find it, cuz.
Hey, man, you can find it on rss.com. It can get you also. I know for sure we're on Spotify, too. I got a Facebook page, D. Randall, specifically for podcasts. Come with some suggestions, topics, whatever you want to talk about. If you listen to the show, give me how your input on it. I got 2 shows out right now. Got the third one set up. It'll come on every Tuesday. So come chop it up with me, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna have some shit to say.
Nah, we gonna wait on your comments.
And last but not least is the Black Colonel Sandals up there that just grilled some chicken and ain't told nobody nothing.
Right.
Uncle Art is up in the corner in the house.
I don't want none of y'all coming down here asking me for shit. Okay?
You just selfish. Selfish.
Hey, Art, you sound like a computer voice. Look at that.
Remember
man.
that.
Look at that golden brown.
Mm-hmm.
And you just selfish.
That's not even cool, man. That's not even cool that you're doing that.
I've seen better though.
That's just selfish.
Oh, you have.
So look, Juneteenth, guys, right? Juneteenth. I'm really serious when I say I was never told about Juneteenth when I was in middle school or elementary school.
Okay, now what the hell is Juneteenth again?
Juneteenth? Okay. Juneteenth is a combination of June and 19th.
Yeah,
right?
That's clear. Yeah.
All right. So that is the day that the remaining, actually every person of African descent was freed from slavery on January the 1st, 1863, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the southern states, which is included right here, they didn't want to tell the black people. So they held that information for 2.5 years until the federal government said, tell them. Oh, we gonna make you regret it.
I think they sent the marshals down there or something, didn't they?
Yes. And so they had to tell them. And they told this dude right here, his name is Major General Gordon Granger, made that dude announce it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Made him announce it. So, they did, and various states took their time doing, adopting it and, shaping it the way they needed to shape it or whatever. But ever since 1900, as early as 1900, you can find pictures of black people celebrating Juneteenth. Black people doing things, that they couldn't do. They were having parades. They were doing all kinds of things to celebrate Juneteenth. And here I am in the 21st century, just found out about it, 30 years ago. This one is in Richmond, Virginia, where a whole town of black people came out and celebrated Juneteenth. And then in the United States, President Biden made it an official holiday in 2021.
Yeah, because he wanted to be reelected.
He wanted to be what?
Reelected.
Oh, well, I don't know, man. This is a side thing, but I'm like, my brother is he can't even get his thoughts together.
Mm-hmm.
it kind of
Joe
scared me.
Biden. Joe Biden is 137 years old, man.
Hey man, you got to do something about your sound. You sound a little distant. You don't sound as clear.
For real.
But yeah, what do y'all think about? When did you guys learn about Juneteenth?
I was an adult.
Really?
I was an adult when I found out about it. Yeah.
Wow. See that don't sit right with me. So when you found out what happened, when you found out about it, how did you respond? Did you just do your normal thing, or did you start celebrating immediately?
I just carried on with normal days. You know, I mean, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I mean, what am I supposed to do? You know, I'll celebrate it. I'll do what I normally do. Mm-hmm. But it has still taken me a while to actually celebrate it.
Really?
So yeah, because I mean, it's something that's been sprung on me, and I don't think about it that much. And you know, it's sad that I don't. But
yeah,
it just hit me like the rest of them days, the holidays.
Yeah. Well, I look at it as very pivotal for me, because when you learn something, you're responsible for it afterwards. So I tend to, because I got a Juneteenth flag outside my house right now.
Damn it.
Yeah. And I mean, once I found out about it, I just jumped head first in, because if you look at it, we were freed in 1863. And then, but these southern states said, skip it. We just won't tell them. They can't read until the federal government made them tell us 2.5 years later.
Right.
So actually, 2.5 years later is when everybody was free. You know, and it kind of makes you think, you know, how people mess with your mind. If somebody knows something that you don't know, they're more freer than you are. And it's just to know how much information has been held back from us in building of this country, in the shaping of this country, in the actual shaping of the conscience or the lack thereof of this country, makes you think like, dang, what is wrong with this place? So I say that because we really need to embrace Juneteenth, even if you do something small like buy a Juneteenth flag and hang outside your house, just to show your solidarity and your solidarity to the freedom of all people, of colors, that is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I want you to know how deep this went. And here's another little fact. Did you guys know that Texas, like this, you know, it shows Texas down here as a slave state, right? There's a part of Texas is supposed to go all the way up to the state of Kansas. See that little gap between Texas and Kansas? Well, Texas says, skip that. Y'all, Oklahoma, you can have that. Here's a better picture of it. That little portion above Texas, that little panhandle that less than 1% of the Oklahoma residents live in, Texas could have had that and went all the way up to Kansas. But do you know why they didn't do it?
It was niggas there.
No. The reason why they didn't do it is because if you got above the 36th parallel, which is a line across the globe, if you went above that, you had to be a free state. They didn't want to be a free state, so they stopped short, said, Oklahoma, you can have that little strip. That's how deep it is in the conscience of this country. So when I say we really need to celebrate or do something that shows your solidarity to Juneteenth, that's what I'm saying. That's what needs to happen.
Well, can I say this? You know, they didn't really do us no damn favors.
Sure.
And hindsight is 2020 because, yeah, back then, you know, yeah, they could celebrate it because they had something that they thought they could look forward to.
Right.
But just like Kelly said, it's like shit. It don't mean shit now. Because if this what we had to fucking look forward to,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So,
It's another day.
as far as
Okay.
I'm concerned, ain't nothing really changed. We came right out of slavery, went back into slavery, but slavery by debt with the sharecroppers, right?
Right.
So we had to always be in debt there, slavery by debt there. And we didn't own none of the land. I mean, we didn't have anything anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And what's weird is that it's still like that today. So I say, you know, to celebrate Juneteenth, I guess it's okay, but honestly, it's meaningless
Oh, how can you say it's meaningless?
because it don't change shit.
It ain't supposed to. Well, wait a minute. Look at what it did change. The last of your ancestors was freed from a governmental oppression tactic called slavery. And that's meaningless that your ancestors were finally free. Now, they were free 2.5 years earlier, but this one was a governmental mandate that you tell these people that you enslaved that they're free. And that means nothing?
Because we haven't gotten anything from it.
Okay. I don't get that you say we haven't gotten anything from it. Okay.
What have we really gained? Because, okay, I put it like this. Yeah, you don't want to be on Master's plantation. That's obvious. Okay, that's obvious.
And that's one change.
You want to be able to make your own way. But
what?
I think the war tactic changed. Once we had been enslaved all that time, our minds were already basically gone. You know what I'm saying? So now it was easy for them to take the shackles off because our mind was in shackles.
I disagree.
This is why I say, huh?
I disagree with you, and here's why. After 1863, you start seeing a whole bunch of black people running for Congress and winning. You start seeing a whole bunch of black cities being built, even up here in Detroit. You had Idlewild. You had Black Wall Street. You start seeing all this stuff forming after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what do you mean our minds were still trapped or captivated or whatever? When you have all this economic growth or this stuff that's starting to grow as a result of not being bound anymore. I mean,
those instances are important, okay? But how can I say this?
I don't know.
The majority of black folk didn't experience that.
What?
You know, the majority. Yeah, we had plenty of little towns and stuff, but the majority of us is what I'm talking about.
But I don't see. Okay, so let me say this, Art. All right. The reason why you have a whole bunch of black people living along 75, the freeway, because they were coming up north. Lots of people, they heard about Henry Ford, $5 a day job. And some people say, hey, I'm going to stop here. And then keep going. Some people say, hey, I'll stop here. And you start seeing these economic growth along these freeways. That's why you have major cities near freeways. And I'm sure that they built them to connect them. But these are the routes that they took. These are the main thoroughfares. And when people stopped, i.e. us, you start seeing a population boom, therefore business boom. And you only need a couple hospital, school, library, grocery store, gas station to make a city. So,
but even to this day, there are more African Americans, quote unquote, African Americans living in the South So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. It was more of us not having those type of things around us. And I'm saying, yes, though that's significant that we was able to make those cities. But up until 1960, there was still niggas in the South sharecropping.
Okay. All
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
All right.
So
Even if you throw, look, even if you throw something in the wind, some of it's gonna come back on you. Okay.
yeah,
So you have to understand that this was a springboard for some real good advancement for us, and we can't focus on well, some of them just went back to start sharecropping. Of course, there's gonna always be somebody who just thought it was comfortable. Even when Moses took the people out of Egypt, some people wanted to stay in Egypt. But what I'm saying is this 1965, June 19th, was a springboard because there was zero captivity in the United States legally after that date.
right. Physical captivity.
Yeah. So, but I don't think it was
The
mental
next
either.
wave of captivity came in the form of the next wave of captivity came in the form of economics.
Okay.
You see?
Okay, got that.
So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. To me, celebrating Juneteenth is insignificant because
Oh, man,
we
that hurts.
just went from one captivity to the next. Is all I'm saying. It really
That
doesn't. To me, it's like, okay, fine, you did it, great. You shouldn't have had us in slavery in the first place. Okay, fine and dandy. But the thing is that they were not setting the people free, and then at the same time, repairing them, giving them reparations, and then on top of that, sending them back to where the hell they came from. No, all they did was turn us loose from the chicken coop out in the chicken yard. This is all they did. That's
I,
all
I
they
I
did.
I totally disagree with that because there's research out there that shows a whole bunch of economic growth among black cities after that happened. And
I'm not
and
saying it wasn't any. I'm just
what you
saying
said is this day is insignificant. It's
I'm saying for the
meaningless.
most part, because
It's not for the most part.
okay, I'll put it to you like this. Okay, with everything we done for this country, shouldn't we be running this damn country?
We did.
We did.
Yeah. Nobody
We were,
no listen, and you're gonna disagree with this totally. Nobody thought we'd have a black first family.
that wasn't no black first family.
Hey, I'm letting you know.
I can.
Nobody thought.
I would say it. You can say that the black man, black woman, whatever you want to say, the black African American culture did run this country because either they were a part of or they invented the most important things that run this country.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it may have not been the black person standing in front of us like President, Roosevelt or whatever it was back in the day, but you still had the guy that invented the coupling for the train,
Yes.
the guy that made lights more prevalent by inventing the filament. You
Lewis
had
Latimer.
somebody invented the stoplight. All the
Yeah.
stuff that was vital, and not
Mhm.
only in certain states but this whole country, were either invented or perfected by a black person.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we did run the country. You just didn't see us in front because that wasn't per se allowed.
Never gave us credit.
Never gave us credit.
Explain
They
how
stole credit.
explain how we ran the country. This is what I'm trying to understand.
Ran it. Well,
I think you taking the literal sense of running the country. There's different types of ways you can run the country and not be seen. I'll put it to you in a way that most black people will understand. I hate to say it, but it's true. If you're that drug pusher that's sitting in Colombia and everybody runs through you, you're the one that's running the drug business. They just don't know you're running it.
right.
So it's the same thing when you looking at a black person who has perfected the inventions that Benjamin Franklin and all these guys get credit for. if it wasn't for the black man behind the scenes that perfected the light bulb, it wouldn't be a light bulb. So there's a person. If it wasn't the person who invented a stop signal, we wouldn't know what a stop signal is. That's per se running the country without being seen. You're doing something without being seen.
And you know it was a
Where
black
are
guy
the
that did
benefits?
that. Where's what?
Where are our benefits? Where's the money?
Oh man.
Are you
I'll put you like this.
taking it?
I'll
You
put you
taking
like
it somewhere else? We all
If
know
a
that
black
the
man
benefits was not there, but you take you. We understand that we didn't get the benefits. The problem is the credit, and now that we know that what was put out, because a lot of us didn't know that the black man invented almost half the stuff that we use today. They didn't know.
But the thing that matters is the income that comes from it. Because we're not making any money off of it. Everybody else is.
That's because at the time we didn't know how to patent our own stuff.
Man, they stole this shit. It wasn't
exactly.
So don't say we didn't know how to patent it. I'm just saying that shit was stolen.
If we don't know, it's easy to steal from us, bro. Once we found out that we could trademark our own stuff, you think they're able to steal it now? Back then they didn't know.
Right. They steal it. They steal shit to this day, bruh.
Because they don't know. We not teaching. We have to take the time to show what we have and how we can keep our own stuff. We can't keep nothing if we don't know how to keep it.
The government steal patents all the fucking time to this day, bruh. And trust me, if you live in the 1930s and you black, they can take whatever they want to take from you, and you ain't got no power to do anything at all.
I'm disagreeing with you with that, but this is a different time, man. You don't see
but we talking about
because we know art. You don't see half the stuff being stolen from us unless we don't know. Right. 1930, you're right. 2023, no, because now they know what can and cannot be taken from them, and they're making precautions for it not to be taken. The stuff stolen by the government. Either they got somebody that can finagle it, and the person who can fight for it, they'll fight for it, or they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead. What did you say?
Also, I mean, if you want to talk about, there was plenty of inventors who had patents that nobody knows about, like Lewis Latimer. He made a patent. George Washington Carver, over 100 patents. And he lived back in the old days.
Now, why his family ain't got trillions of dollars?
Who knows? And I don't know that they don't.
We know why. This is my point. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. We were freed, and some niggas had to wait 2 years to find out. But we were freed, and the niggas started celebrating Juneteenth because, damn it, we was let go. Fine. We got a future ahead of us. Fine and dandy. Now, 100 years later, we're no further along than we were then, is what I'm saying.
That is entirely
when you really look at it. When you really look at it, bruh, I'm telling you.
How do you so 100 over 200 years ago, more than 200 years ago, you wouldn't be able to just sit in your little Model T or whatever and go in your backyard and barbecue. You'll be barbecuing for somebody else. How has anything changed?
Again, understand, there's levels to the shit. The first captivity was physical. Then came the mental and economic captivity. This is why we're no better off, because we're not really growing.
Got you.
You know, we're just here existing, you know, and just kind of moving with whatever they put out there for us to do or to get into. We just going with the flow. We're not, in other words, I put it like this. People talk about black culture, right? What is black culture?
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with us, because the shit you see on TV and what they call black culture, we did not create. And this is my point. You know what I'm saying? We're destroyed a different way now. We are enslaved a different way. So that's why I look at Juneteenth like, well, yeah, it was fine. They had a reason to celebrate back then, but now ain't shit to fucking celebrate.
Well, that's on us. That's on the people they left the legacy for.
I was just going to say that that's our fault.
Yeah, and me, but
That's
see if you
our
look at
fault.
yes,
For not teaching the generations once we learn what we knew.
yes.
That's
why
I understand what you're saying, Art. I get it, but you can't sit and put all of the blame on the government. Once we found out, we knew what was going on. We had to make moves. We had to put ourselves in situations to where we can patent our stuff and do what we need to do. I understand what you're saying, but there is a significant change from 1863 to 2023. It's a big, significant jump. It may not be the jump that we like, but it's a jump. And a lot of that is us.
I'm talking about in its totality. In its totality.
You still have to include
where
our
are
decision
we?
making in our totality, though.
I'll tell you this. I'll give you one better. I think we was better off then than we are now.
Okay. All right. I'm good, man.
I can't agree with that.
Better off then than we are now.
Man, that's some garbage. That's some straight.
I don't see how you can say that.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. For this reason. All through that time, all the way up through the 60s, we was better off because we still had our fucking families. We had the man in the house. We had the woman in the house. Everybody was doing their job. And we had families and we was able to make those communities. You dig what I'm saying? What in the hell do we have now? What can we walk outside and say, look what black people have done? Shouldn't y'all be proud of us? Look at us. Look at how these kids run around and look in the street. And look at these parents. Look at all them niggas in Chicago. All them hundreds of kids went downtown. Where their parents at?
Okay,
you
but
know what I'm saying?
I think you are. Anybody could take a pessimistic look at anything, and I think that's where you're looking at it from a pessimistic view, because everything is not like almost perfect. Then the whole history got to be flushed down the toilet and described as meaningless. Man, how many? I look at it like this. We immediately, like I said, you had black people running for Congress and Senate. Unheard of thing, and they were winning. How do you win? And then after that, you had millions of black people starting big cities or starting cities and businesses. We had one in Detroit before Albert Cobo ran a freeway through it. So it's like, how do you say you're better off then when we were building our own cities all over this country with no help from nobody?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. We're better off then than we are now because we ain't building shit now.
I think I understand a little bit where you're going. I just think
don't
taking it. Let me say. I think I got it. I think he's taking it. What you're saying, too big of a pessimistic look at it, because just because they had the man in the household and this and that back in the 1960s, you still was being controlled. You still was being told what to do to a certain degree. You still didn't have a lot of freedoms. And was able to say what you wanted to say. Women were still treated a certain type of way, especially the black women. You still had in the South, they believed whether the man was in the house or not, they still treated them lower as opposed to being equal. So if you're going
to mean lower.
Period. They still had slave mentalities in the 1960s and 50s and 40s, sir.
Who was treating the women like that?
Who was treating the women like that? What you mean?
I'm asking. I'm trying to make sure I hear you clearly about what exactly you're saying.
The women were being treated inferior back then
by
men, white men.
Okay.
I'm saying if you're going to take it to say it was better back then, I can't agree with that, because what the mentality was back then, we were still, even though we were free, it still was inferiority, and they applied it more back then as opposed to now.
You sure about
that? Instances where it's still being shown, of course. Racism was in hibernation; it never died. I'm saying that you can't really say that. I don't think. If you sat down and talked to your grandparents, if they were still living, God bless them if they're not, they would tell you that the fight that they had was probably far superior than what they're going through now. The reason why it's bad now is because you can see everything. It's a technical world. Mm-hmm. Everything is out there for you to see. Everything is out. People can do what they want to do and film what they want to film and do what they please.
You making my point.
Back then, you were literally destroyed and couldn't say anything. If somebody put out, man, George Floyd we wouldn't know nothing about it if they didn't have a camera phone.
Probably not.
He would still be out walking around ready to kill another black man because it wasn't.
Probably so.
You can't do that now. Yeah. That in itself makes it better now. I get what you're saying about all the totality, but you got to include the totality of what was done back then as opposed to what's done now. They can't get away with it.
Well, if you want to compare our affliction back then to our affliction now, I can argue that we getting tore up pretty much just as much as we was back then. Well, just like you say, we just see it now.
We have more of a voice now. We have more of a voice now than we did back then.
We have powerful voices now.
Yeah,
powerful.
We got powerful voices where?
We had no voice back then.
I think that's the point I'm making because we have a voice now. Yes, but think about why we got a voice.
What voice
that's out there that can give you a voice? We didn't have a voice back then because you were told not to have a voice.
Man, we ain't got no voice.
Nah,
we not have a voice now.
You taking this way left. There is a voice. Yeah, that's way out there. 1950 to now, it's a totally different voice, bro. It may not be a great voice. It is a voice, though.
1960 to now.
And even back then, there was absolutely no voice.
What's the difference?
The difference is because we was treated like children in the 1800s, man.
What are we being treated like now?
Nah, man. There's no, unless you want to be treated.
I want you to answer the question.
I am.
What are we being treated like right now?
We're not being treated like children.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
I'm gonna tell you. Okay, Art. Since you want to go there, let's go all the way there. Let's go there. Why are they treating us like that now?
If we are,
why are they treating us like that now?
I'm not saying we are children. I'm saying we're being treated like children.
Okay, so why are they treating us like that though?
They treat us like that because
we act like them.
No,
because they think we act like them. They always thought we were inferior to them ever since they brought us over here. Mm-hmm. And since we are killing each other, you name all this, everything you name, where was it at? A predominantly black city. Everything you name that happened negative was in a predominantly black city. They love to kill each other, so they're gonna treat us how we treat each other.
But the thing is that those factors come about by all the things that then came over time and all the things they didn't put together. Like I say, they took the chains off of us, okay? But they had a different way of enslaving us and still using us and keeping us in a downtrodden state. Everything that you said,
more of a problem doing that though now, Art, as opposed to the end. I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
I can't agree with that. And I'm gonna tell you why,
bro.
I'm gonna tell you why I can't agree with that. Okay, because we got more crime in our cities now than we did in the '60s. We got more niggas dying in our cities now than we did in the '60s. You know what I'm saying?
But
so I mean, it's not better. It's worse now.
But that's
we had some sense. We had some sense of
community
I'll call it togetherness.
Yeah.
A certain level of fortitude for our friends and families. Now, niggas don't care about nobody.
But that's on us. That's on us.
That's all I'm saying.
Us.
That's all I'm saying.
It is on us.
It falls on us, bro.
Okay, and let me tell you why it's really on us. Just like you said, yes, it is on us.
Yes.
Look at the leaders we choose. But then you have to say to yourself, well, why do we choose them? Well, we choose them because when we had the right ones, those got murdered. And it's a further psychological destruction over all this time we've been going through. That's what I'm saying. Now slavery is mental and economic. This is what our slavery is now. Even though we don't have to necessarily go dance for Massa when he say go dance. we are really and truly no real better off. We might have a few little extra luxuries more than we had before. Maybe we can go here and go talk to white people and maybe even talk shit to white people and don't nothing happen to us. But what does it matter when our cities and our children look and act the way they look and act? We not no better.
So can we blame the people who came from the civil rights movement? Can we blame our grandfathers and grandmothers because we dropped the ball somewhere and our kids are acting a fool? Can we blame these people who use part?
We blame. Only thing we can blame is, like you say, ourselves. And there are certain things that we do not know. And I think Damon hit on it. That there were things that was kept from us, and because we couldn't read, so a lot of things we wasn't going to know. And I think that if we were able to read, especially when it comes out to reading the Holy Scriptures, if they could have really read it, I think we would be a whole lot different now. But now all that information that's necessary for us has been hijacked and turned into something that is unuseful for, I think, for society and definitely for us. So, barring that, if we had that, yeah, maybe things would be different. But considering the man we dealing with, we're always as long as he's in power, we're going to be like this until
some of what you coming up with, Art. I think it has to do with the parenting of the day. That you talking about the kids and
yes.
From then until now. That just has something to do with the parent. You got some parents that's kids don't know shit.
Yeah,
they don't know how to parent. That ain't got nothing to do with where we come from and what we done been through.
Right.
I tell you this: when them drugs came into our cities and into our communities, that was it for us, man.
But you blaming the wrong people.
Who you gonna blame for the drugs then? Where we going with this one?
Well, we ain't got no ships. We ain't got no ship to bring that shit in here.
Okay, but we should have enough common sense to say, well, dang, we finna tear up everything that we just built if we let these drugs in here. But there's enough of the dummies out there who just said, okay, I want to get rich. I don't care about black people no more.
The thing is just like you say, not to interrupt, but you hit it on the nail, man. There are ones that did take up that offer, and these people were especially selected to do this job. Just like you say, I mean, you would think that we would be like, nah, forget that, but we did. But whenever we did, those people got hurt, and then everybody else said, well, we can't say shit, and you already know the story. You know what I'm saying? You know that story. So again, it's not us necessarily not doing it for ourselves. Again, it's the mental and economic slavery that keeps us from being able to resist the things that come into our communities. You dig what I'm saying?
I get everybody gets what you're saying, but then you throw these really extreme statements out there like we ain't no better now than we were better off back then. Totally untrue. And then when you said something else, I was like, what are you talking about? But anyway, Maddie says, we have made great strides in history to afford the freedoms that we have now. Black and white people have sacrificed their lives for the freedom that we have now. We will still be forced to sit in the back of the bus. Exactly.
So,
well said, Maddie.
Just sit in the back of the bus then. I'll say this. Yep, some white people died. And now we got certain freedoms, suppose what they call freedom, but we don't have freedoms. We aren't free. We have privileges.
We're not free.
We have privileges.
We're not free.
We are still slaves in this country, and we have privileges. That's all we have.
Let me say this. The city you live in now, I'd say just 10 years ago, had probably 2 black people in it.
Yeah, it might have been 2 or 3 niggas. Yeah.
Now you can rename the city Harlem, the part 2.
You could.
Yeah. And then
why do you think that is?
Because you got the freedom to move where you want to move.
But wait a minute. But if the white people didn't leave, you couldn't move in.
But they left.
Why did they leave?
Who knows? I don't go around asking. Whatever.
They got the money.
Okay.
They got the money to go buy something bigger and better and go move out west somewhere, wherever they go. You know how they go.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You think I'm lying?
Okay.
All right.
I'm
I'm
just
gonna cover it up. I ain't
I'm
gonna
just
worry about it. I'm just gonna cover myself up
I'm
and
just
just put
reading
my
the comment.
leg up like this.
All right, so I think we're gonna turn this to something that we can agree on. Even back then, during those oppression days, after you were after Juneteenth and people started doing things on their own, you saw a lot of fathers in the home. You saw a lot of family portraits with that man in that portrait. Wasn't until recent times that the father was, I don't want to say eliminated from the home, but I would say eliminated / tricked out of leaving the home in an attempt to break up a solid thing called the black family. So I think we can agree on that. We talked about earlier that if some woman had a child, she can go on welfare, and as long as she ain't got no man there, that's a stipulation. And even in divorces is where pretty much a woman can write her own meal ticket and get it. So there's I don't want to say a conspiracy, but it sounds just like it, smell like it, look like it, to eliminate black men from their homes, which makes it hard for us to father. It makes us hard for our roles harder. Can we all agree on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Which is why we in the shit we in today.
Okay. But me and Damon was talking earlier. We both know a guy who was thrown in the whole system, and he kept fighting until he won. I mean, it cost him some dough, but he kept going back because he wanted to let this judge know what you're doing is not right. And he was thrown out 3 times. That 4th time he came back, the judge was like, well, something's up because he keeps coming back. And he won. He won because not only was he taking care of his children, he was sending her child support. And he's like, why am I sending this when I need that money for the children here? And she wasn't trying to hear. The judge, typically Caucasian woman, do this little child support cases. I ain't never seen a man, and I definitely ain't seen no person of color. Grew a conscience and said, something's going on. What's the deal? I can't in good conscience keep throwing him out because he just keeps standing. And he won and got it dropped because he went to the judge went to the woman and said, you're under oath. Any lies you tell and put you 30 days in jail. Does he have his kids more than you? After about a 30-second pause, yes. Judge was so outdone because she was like, dummy. I mean, wow. Why would you set yourself up like that when you were getting child support and all you had to do was maintain your days that we have already outlined? But because you looked at it like, here's free money and a free babysitter, I'm just going to take this little easy way out. So that is something that I will always think of as a trick from the government to eliminate fathers and at the same time make this woman feel like she's getting over. It makes it harder on us.
So much.
Make me want to get my pistol. That's what it make me want to do.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, it took a little longer than what I thought.
Yeah, I know. He just ate, so it's digested.
Yeah,
it's just making me angry when you think about it. Because the thing is, it's like just like Damon said. I think matter of fact, I think it was you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, how is it that we just let all this shit happen to us?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, it happened because we are not in our right mind.
Well,
I
will now that statement right there, not right, man. I'm gonna have to disagree with.
Yeah, what are you talking
about? It's because the simple fact of that one to me is we might not know enough. so we are not going to fight for it. Like my
Mhm.
man, you were just talking about. He
Mhm.
kept going back. He kept standing up. He kept going back. He was fighting for what he knew was right.
Mhm.
So as long as I know I'm right, if I feel it in my heart and in my mind and soul, I'm going back down there every chance I can to
Yes.
make sure it's set right by
Mhm.
me. I don't care about nothing else at that point.
Right. Right.
So I put that on the education of most black men not knowing about the court system, and every black man needs to educate themselves with them because
Exactly.
you
Well,
can
now
you
Hold on.
I
Let me
can
say this.
fight
Let me say
City
this,
Hall
Art.
on that one and win. I've done
Let
that
me.
once.
Yes.
I've
Let me
done
say this. All these laws. See, when we go vote, and I know Art got an issue with that, but when we go vote, you have to look at these small elections. Look at these state legislatures.
Mm-hmm.
Look at all these people who make laws in our state, because they're the people who make a law that says when you get divorced, you know, there's a law that says this much has to go to the woman, or automatically the man has to pay for this divorce, or that stuff has been snuck under the radar, and all you see is a name. When you
Mm-hmm.
look at these little people that you don't even know their name, look these people up. See how they voted for stuff in the past, because they'll smile in your face and they have an agenda behind all that. So I always look at these people, and I don't vote people in who don't agree with my issues. So that
well, one of y'all niggas voted Biden old ass in. Now, which one of you niggas was it?
We do not
Don't
discuss
start talking that
politics on
shit,
this
because I'm
show.
gonna talk about every last one of y'all. Yeah, I got an issue with voting because y'all niggas voted that Biden nigga in. He can't even stand up.
hey man, you got to pray for the president, man,
For what?
because man,
I should pray. You know what? Yeah, I should pray for him. I should pray for him because of that 1992 crime bill he signed. Yeah, I
yeah,
should pray for him for that.
yeah. Uh,
Which took all our men and put them in prison. Think about it. We having a conversation about where we at, why we not in the homes. You see where we went.
yeah, I understand what you're talking
Why
about.
pray for him?
Well, he okay. So look, number one,
Interesting thing to do.
his set of dementia is happening, and
Oh shit.
everybody's watching it. Like the whole world is watching him just lose it.
Oh shit. Well,
Then the second thing is,
he gonna wake up one morning and just push the button.
but the other thing is he really, we have I call her black. You can call her Jamaican. You call her whatever you want. Sister's black. We got a vice president there that if he don't run again, she's definitely gonna win the Democratic nomination.
Ain't nobody voting for that heifer.
Oh,
And if she win the Democrat, if she win the Democratic nomination, all that means is that is more niggas that I thought that are dumb as hell. That's all it means. That's all it means. It means it's a bunch of
Art,
dumbass niggas and some silly ass black women out here talking about some. Well, look at what her skin look like. Look at what
Art,
the bitch do. That's
come
what, just like you
on,
said. Look at what they do.
Put
Okay.
a foot in your mouth.
come on, Art, you gotta
Why?
be kidding.
You
Huh?
label
Be
Now
kidding.
I'll say this. I'll say this. If you did your homework on Kamala
Who come alive?
when she was the district attorney, a lot of her cases that involve black men, she prosecuted.
Okay, stop right there. Did the brothers deserve it?
Yes.
Some
And no.
did, some did, some didn't.
I
But the
don't.
point is that she prosecuted to the limit of the law.
Did they
And when
deserve it?
she had leeway,
Some
she
did,
always
some
went to the
didn't.
limit.
I'm just saying you can't just stop there and say.
No, I wasn't gonna stop there.
I know you weren't. I know you weren't.
What I'm saying is it goes back to what you said earlier, cuz you gotta do your homework on who you vote for.
Right.
And the thing that most people seem to jump, Barack jumped, he was the black guy. They voted for him, blah, blah, blah. Go back to Clinton. Clinton acted black. You know what I'm saying? He was the pimp, had the ladies, this type of stuff. Joe Biden.
If it wasn't for Arsenio Hall,
Joe Biden was a part of the movement. So let's vote him in. It's more to it than that.
Yeah.
You gotta do your homework on what these cats, what they believe, what they don't believe.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff. Because in the end, I don't care what nobody say. We as black men, we as black fathers, we suffer.
Yeah. Right.
It don't matter who's in office.
We as middle class, we
This is what I'm
really
saying.
suffer. Because at the end of the day, the black community, I don't care what nobody say, they gonna hate me for saying this. We are the middle class. We run this country.
Mm-hmm.
Period. We run the country.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't the rich, because the rich gonna get rich whether they steal from us. And it ain't the poor, because they make the poor even poorer, and they going to do what they need to do to survive.
Mm-hmm.
We run the country, man. And at the end of the day, separating the fathers from their children is one of the biggest, if not the biggest reason everything is going on today in a rut.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
You can't really do nothing as a father or a mother, but we talking about Father's Day. You can't do nothing as a father to punish your kids without the kids going before the judge and saying he did this, and you get in trouble for being a parent.
For being a parent.
You go to jail for being a parent. You get reprimanded for being a parent. Because they listen to put little Timmy in timeout, and Timmy grow up to be the Unabomber.
Yeah.
It's real funny. It's real funny how they don't want the fathers to discipline their children, but they damn sure willing to discipline our children first.
They want
they willing to put them in prison and all that shit.
They don't want the fathers to do it, but they don't mind the warden doing it.
Well, see, the whole point of the matter is look, if you look at everybody we just talked about, if you look at Biden, if you look at Kamala Harris, all of them were instrumental in black men going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all niggas voted them in office. What is wrong with y'all niggas?
So let me say this. Let me ask Misha a question. Misha said, we don't need Biden or Trump, and we don't need Kamala Harris. So what does it take, Misha? I mean, how do we get back to a point of power where we're taking our communities back and teaching our kids some things that are worth something? Or are you saying that we need other leaders in their places? So, Misha says, John D. Rockefeller stated, I don't want a nation of thinkers. I want a nation of workers.
Thank you. Thank you. And that
he didn't cut himself off.
Wow. That's crazy. Art is a special young man. I would say this. What Aaron said earlier, as far as listening to the story, he and I talked about this young man, what he's been through, and Kelly nailed it. You got to know the court system as men, what you need to put yourself through, what you need to know when you step into that arena. Because a lot of the men don't know, and because they don't know, they're afraid.
Right.
They scared to even try, because no one has given them the information to say, first of all, you ain't got to be scared. Secondly, here's the information you need to know. You can walk in there with your chest out, especially if you're taking care of your business, and don't give up. The reason why a lot of the guys is because they don't have that information that the guy Aaron was talking about had. And it's a domino effect, because now they're scared. They have no idea, and it's already in their mind that, well, I ain't got it, and the judge is going to automatically rule for the woman. When that's not necessarily true when you doing your job.
It's not.
So that's the issue that the young black men and the men that really wanted to fight for the kids end up not fighting for it, because they didn't have the proper guidance.
Yes, and due to either ignorance or laziness, they didn't go find out.
One of the two, exactly.
So, but dang, I had
that ignorance and that laziness comes from fear, though.
It does.
Yeah, they scared.
Yeah, they scared. Because I know a guy, and I brought him up a couple of times. He ain't married, and I got a question about marriage, so don't let me forget it. I'm gonna ask it now because I don't want to forget. So while fatherhood is being really challenged, particularly for us, if Art and Damon, if you weren't married, would you consider marriage nowadays? Being that this woman can go to court, this woman can go to court, and you just got to pay. You gotta negotiate to see your own children. You know, it's so easy to just divorce nowadays, and they don't, because they used to in some states they still send you to a class to make sure this is what you want to do because this is the outcome. Now it's just like, okay, you want it, cool. And then all the dominoes fall with it. Knowing all of that, would you and Art consider marriage in 2023?
I can't speak for Art. I'm speaking for myself. Absolutely not.
Boom.
Absolutely not.
What would you?
I'll say this. Absolutely yes.
You would?
It just won't be no damn American woman.
What kind of woman would it be?
He gonna get a Tibetan.
You better be careful.
Something.
He going to get.
Hey, look, these days you can marry a tiger. I might marry a tiger. Fuck it.
Hey,
a tiger?
Yeah, fuck it. Marry a tiger. You can marry what you want. I can marry a bird. It don't matter.
You know what Art mess around to do? He gonna go over to the mountains of Caucasus, gonna find that broad named Umfufu, bring her back. She don't know no culture, no none.
Look, the Caucasus Mountains got white folk in them. I'm not going there to find nobody. Okay.
He gonna go. Okay, so I change it. He gonna go to the mountains of Negroid.
Okay.
In southwest Uganda. He gonna go somewhere in Uganda somewhere, find some broad that ain't got nothing on but a bone in her nose.
A bone in her nose, yeah.
And he gonna bring her back. He ain't gonna teach her no American culture or nothing.
That's what you can't do.
Somehow she gonna find out and be like, Eddie, I won't have Eddie. I want what's coming to me.
He was like, I'm an American woman now. I want what's coming to me.
Yep. Hey, because Umfufu gonna make that friend. Umfufu gonna make that friend named Keisha, and Keisha gonna come over there. You know, you can get half his money. You know what? You ain't here cooking. You ain't got no clothes on. No, you're just not going out like that. That's what's gonna happen. And she gonna come.
You treat me like animal.
Hey, you gonna come? Art gonna come home from doing taxes. Hey, baby, she gonna be standing there taxing. Arthur, you know you did me wrong today.
Hey, I'm gonna take my notebook. I'm gonna take my notebook and what I'm saying, just try and get the hell out the way.
But wait a minute. But in your household, she gonna be holding your pistol.
Right.
Oh, I ain't gonna leave it for her.
Hey, Kelly. Keisha, every time he go to work, Keisha gonna come and take it to the gun range and everything. She gonna know how to hold the pistol and everything.
Everything.
I don't want to get married now, bro. One reason I don't want to get married right now is because the values is totally different.
Yes.
And that's the main thing.
The values are totally different as opposed to I wouldn't want to marry nobody in this age right now because they don't value each other. They don't value themselves. They don't respect each other. They don't respect themselves.
God,
I'm not going to deal with none of that at the time. I will be single until Jesus called me home. I wouldn't get married right now.
I can't. Nobody can blame you. Nobody can blame you because I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day that marriage does not. We get absolutely nothing from it. And when we get married, we're hoping that we don't have to go down that road. We just hope it.
I done seen people waited. They was together years. 10, 12, 13 years. They got married and was divorced in a year.
Yeah. They were better off.
They were better off, right? See, my thing is, I just don't like the traditions and the cultures that's going on, the values right now.
I don't either.
I'm gonna tell you this.
None of that.
People think. Let me tell you this, man. People think marriage is the end goal. Marriage is the beginning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And people treat it like, okay, now we married, now everything is done.
That's
No,
not true.
That's when it works.
that's not it.
Yeah.
That's not
You know
true.
what I'm saying?
It's a learning process the whole way.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, right.
For both.
Shit, till death do you part.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
And see, not until you have irreconcilable differences. You know, differences are going to come, but
Hey,
you got to hang in there, man. Dog,
Going-
you just can't run. No, we're barring all of the abuse. Okay, take all the
Yeah.
abuse out.
Right.
But if you don't agree about something, you just packing up, leaving.
Right.
That's some stupid coward crap. Hold
Well,
on.
see, that's the society we live in. The society we live in tell
Exactly.
you,
That's
hey,
exactly what I'm
if
talking about.
if you don't like it, just go find some different shit.
Yep. Hold on. Misha says, I want to get married one day. A lot of people made kids out of lust and didn't take the time to get to know the person. Some married 4 kids, financial reasons, and some are afraid to be alone. She says, sad but true.
Mm-hmm.
I can't disagree with that.
Misha sound like she need a hot cocoa or something with some marshmallows in it.
What does that mean?
That's
She
what I
sound
want.
real sad over there.
Get them, Misha. Get them.
I just at the end of the day,
Sometimes they just don't want to be alone.
they don't though. You know how many people?
No.
The actual truth. The actual truth is just that though. It's a lot of people marry because they don't want to be by themselves, and that is the dumbest reason to ever marry anybody.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people get married to stay with the kids. A lot of people it's not for the legitimate reason of I love this person,
right,
and we're gonna build a life together.
Yes.
It's not nowadays, bro. A lot of these kids, they don't want to get married. They want to go do their thing, do this and do that, and still have somebody to come home to.
Man, look.
Nah, man.
These boys been raised by women, so they don't think like men. And the girls been raised to think like men. So they go out here and hump everything like men and feel like they should still be worth something. But to a real man, they ain't worth shit. Because you've been out here, you got 79 bodies and you 26 years old.
Yeah.
And you think you supposed to be valuable to a man.
Yeah.
Case in
you
point,
can't even
bro.
buy him to a nigga right.
Hey, I know y'all heard this, but case in point. Al Pacino is 83 years old.
That nigga old.
And he got a 29-year-old woman pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Robert De Niro is 79. Divorced his beautiful black wife and gets another woman pregnant. Al Pacino's oldest child is 53 years old. There's a 53-year difference between his oldest and his youngest. And you telling me that woman, 29 years old in the prime of her life, love Al Pacino?
No, she don't love him.
Money.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. That's the
love
society that I'm talking about. Come on, man. Come on.
Not
man.
at all.
You know, back in the day,
she come for money now. She come for money. Her family has money. I read up on this woman. She has money. It's just that Al has more, so she can add on to what she got.
She know he gonna be gone in a minute. She gonna run all that shit.
Ron Isley, Ron, almost 80, got a 4-year-old.
Crazy as hell.
No, I'm not. That to me, that's going out the world backwards.
Yeah,
you can't see your child grow up, and if you want to hold your child, your arthritis ain't gonna let you. It's gonna lock up when you try to hold baby and stuff. You're gonna have to take Geritol to get even want to play. You play with them, you might pass out. You know it's a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we hit a nerve. Misha said these kids just want to bust one and keep it moving. Keela says the men are sassy now, whatever that meant.
Sassy.
Yeah.
They what's the other term they're using now? Zesty.
Yeah. Maddie says you have to enjoy your own company first. Keela says facts.
How the hell you do that?
Is needed. Keela says that girl is lying. I think she's talking about Pacino's girl. She ain't pregnant by him. And who is Kelly's? Is dating? Who is
Kelly's.
Who is that?
She dating Bill Murray. Well, that's the rumor. Kelly's the singer.
Okay. Well, he's old, but
the rumor is they've been seen together. Somebody made a joke and said, if Kellis ain't with Bill Murray and Wrigley Field, they ain't dating because he a big Cubs fan.
yeah,
So,
she said correction, Bill Murray.
yeah,
Maddie
Bill
says
Murray and Kellis supposed to be dating.
Maddie says you're supposed to enjoy your own company before someone else can enjoy your company.
How do you enjoy your own company? That don't make no sense to me. Like,
Maddie,
hey, Art, you know what? I'm really enjoying the way that you talking to me right now. Yeah, I'm enjoying the way you talking to me too.
Maddie, answer his question for him. Okay.
I believe she's
That's
saying
just how you gotta love yourself.
That sound like some out of body experience type shit. I don't know what she's talking about.
I actually think Maddie is saying enjoy your own company and being confident in yourself. You able to be confident in yourself, then you able to enjoy somebody else's company.
Yeah.
Misery, you can't be miserable and then expect somebody to want to be with you.
Yeah, right. And I mean, Misha says you have to be alone first, Art, before you can give to someone else.
Say what?
You have to be alone first before you can give to someone else.
Alone first? What does that mean?
By yourself.
I don't understand what that means. Why you gotta be alone? Why you gotta be by yourself before you can give to a motherfucker? I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, they saying Damon hit it on the head.
I'm saying in order to be able to enjoy somebody else's company, you cannot be miserable because nobody wants to be with a miserable person.
Okay,
if you can't be alone and understand that I'm alone, I'm good. If I find somebody that's better, but I ain't gonna be down and depressed and all that. So if you going into a relationship depressed, you ain't making the relationship better. You making it worse.
That's right.
That's I think that's what they're saying.
Well, for number one, though, you shouldn't be 35 years old or older talking about something. I'm looking for a damn relationship.
Why? If you're
you know what I'm saying?
Why?
You should. Man, look.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Now, what's wrong with being 35 and older and looking for a relationship?
Right.
Man, you should marry early. You should marry early.
Why? Why?
I'm married early.
That avoid
because they don't have the mindset to
not always right.
Listen now. Well, see, everything got to come from somewhere. So if you got a young child that's marriage minded and is going to get married early, it's because she got that or he got that from their parents.
Wait,
okay.
He or she does not get married early and they go off and look for love and try to find marriage later on after 35. What's wrong with that?
She probably screwed up by then.
So what's wrong with him?
He probably screwed up too.
You gotta throw that boomerang at the man too, bro.
He probably screwed up too. Because the problem is they get out here in these streets.
But now one could just not want to do that though. One could.
Well, how often does that shit happen?
I don't want to be married at 35.
I just want to fuck everybody.
I want to wait. No, and it's some out there that didn't do that.
Well, I'm telling. How many virgins run around out here 35 right now?
I don't know. I ain't counting them. Shit.
I don't know.
You can count them. You can count them. You can count them.
I get what you're saying to a certain extent, but you got to look at it from this point. There are certain women, there are certain men who don't have the mental mind, or I ain't gonna say they have the mental mindset, who are not ready to settle down because they know themselves. They don't want to. If they saying, I'm gonna get married at 23, but then I'm still lusting and doing this, doing that. A lot of them saying, I'm not gonna put. If this is the woman I want to marry, I'm not gonna put her in a situation where I'm lusting. The only person I need to be lusting after is her. Now, if they marry early and all of it happens and they stay together, this, that, and third, okay. But you can't sit here and say that you should marry young. And maybe the person who got married at 35, they got married and stayed married till they died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a different, what they say, different.
Would you saying that the other person died when they were 35?
No, I'm saying they got married and stayed together until the other person died. They got married at 35 and had a long loving marriage.
Exceptions, right? There's always the exceptions. There's a lot of shit that happened in between.
Right.
I'm just saying, generally, cut out all the BS and all the, well, you got to be with yourself first and figure you out and all that nonsense. You do it right from the beginning. Your mama teach you how to be a wife. Your daddy teach you how to be a fucking husband. You're married by the time you're 20, 25, 26 years old in your prime. So you got the energy to raise a fucking family and go to work every damn day. And you stay with your wife and you stay with your husband. and you raise your fucking family. That's all it is.
That's
easy
Art,
said
that's
than done.
Cinderella, man.
Yeah.
That's
Look, and
Cinderella.
you wonder why you say that? You wonder why you say that, Aaron? It's easier than said than done because of the fucking society we live in right now.
I get it.
Everything in this society right
That's-
now, everything in this society right now, tell black men and women not to be married.
That's
They tell
what I
women,
just said.
they tell, huh?
I agree with you.
They tell black women to hate us, distrust us, not
Oop.
count on us.
Oop.
They teach us that they ain't nothing but hoes. They
Oop.
get out here in the street and shake their ass and act like hoes at the same damn time. They tell our women, look, just go find yourself first, then get married, which means go fuck everybody you want to fuck first, and then no. You know what I'm saying? This is the problem. And with all the things that we done been through as black people from 1865 forward, it's all I'm telling you, man, we've been messed up. It's a mental, economic, slavery. We feel like we know what our culture is, but all we do is get out here and do shit that destroy each other and destroy ourselves.
That's not all we do.
Okay,
man, I can't tell nothing different.
Okay, so I heard everything you said, and
there's a couple niggas going to college, but I'm telling you right now, most niggas is fucked up. I'm telling you right now.
There's some things in there I really can't dispute on certain things.
Jesus,
I hear you. I hear you. Here's where I draw the line on certain stuff you say. You can teach your son a whole lot of stuff. A mother can teach her daughter a whole lot of stuff. Guess what? At the end of the day, when they turn 21, the final decision is theirs.
Yeah.
So if they want to go out there and do what they do, you taught them already. Everything was put in place for them to learn how to be a man, how to be a woman, how to treat a woman, how to be a father, how to do everything they did. All that's in place. At the end of the day, guess who makes the final decision when they grow? Them.
They do. Yep.
So when it's instilled in them, if it's instilled in them and they take heed to it, yeah, maybe they can't. Maybe they don't get married till they 30 when they can do exactly what they were told. Mm-hmm. That what they were taught, rather. I can't sit there and say you get married right now when I look at you and I can tell you're not ready to be married.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to send them out like that. All I'm saying is that they need to be raised a certain way from the beginning. Not understanding that being married to one person and doing it soon in life and not getting out here and messing yourself up.
The problem is when they get older, that decision is on them. We did our part as fathers, teaching them the way to go.
Right.
Well, train up a child in the way they should go.
Exactly. But guess what? The prodigal son was trained up right. He went out and did his thing till he realized it was wrong.
Yeah.
Then he came on back and got his shit together.
Exactly. Yeah. So the thing goes back as going right back to what we've been talking about. Father is needed. Father has to show these cats, this is what you do, this. And if you wander off and decide to do your own thing, prodigal son thing, you want to do that. When you bump your head, you're going to realize, hey, I wasn't taught this. Mm-hmm. The final decision is still theirs.
Yeah.
Well,
and plus,
hopefully they stop fucking it up for everybody else because they making the wrong
kind of domino effect. Now, I do agree with you on that. That's the domino effect. But the problem is, they make once my cousin raised his sons to be grown men, and he let them out. He can sit back in his chair and say, I did my part. Mm-hmm. Kelly did raise his daughters. Mm-hmm. I did my part. Because you did your part. Art can sit back with his cigarette and his gun and his drink. Sit back and say, I raised my daughters. And my right. You see what I'm saying? He can sit back and say that. I can sit back and say, I did my part.
Right.
Now it's up to them to do
this. Right. That's all you can do.
Which is what we were saying when we were talking about when people were set free in 1865, how messed up it is now is not their fault. That's what they did. They just sat back, said, hey, we built this city. I need y'all to take it from here. And then you got today a whole bunch of dummies who just think it's better off to get money selling dope and wrecking your community than it is to build a community. So we cannot blame the people who were set free. So just like your kids can blame you if they make mistakes and you taught them better.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
You said it, you broke up a little bit. You said the kids can't blame me for what?
They can't blame you if they make mistakes and you taught them better.
Right.
All right, you see that one? That one's for you, buddy.
What's that? Oh yeah, buddy.
It didn't turn left.
It turned left.
I got gas in the car.
Well, hey, let's do this little takeaway. 30 seconds. Everybody got 30 seconds. What you taking away from this conversation? Your Honor, Judge Kelly, what you got?
Well, I mean, as far as the Juneteenth, I think we need. I think I need to do a little bit more along with that, carrying on. Because me and you had a conversation the other day outside. But
yeah.
And Father's Day, it's coming up. Happy Father's Day, gents. My brother-in-law talking about he want to chime in. Too late, bro. So, yeah, go ahead. That's my 30 seconds. What I'm doing.
Oh, okay. Well, let me read this thing. Let me read this stuff from Misha. Misha's one of our greatest. I love when Misha come in. She said, I had a man 44 tell me to my face that he don't do dates. I met a 55-year-old and he told me all he want to do is play. It's dating and dating is not what it used to be. So anyway, she said it was good chatting with y'all.
Now, was that a question?
Dating is rough though, Misha. Dating is rough.
Tell me about it. All right, so Damon, what you got?
The Juneteenth thing, man, it's some of the stuff I didn't know about at all. Didn't find out too late. Now I understand what the true meaning of it is, and it should be put more because it's a vital part of our history, our heritage, and everything. And as far as the fathers go, we got to keep pushing to be great fathers and show these young cats what it's like to be a real man and a real father. Period.
Mm-hmm. Colonel Sanders, what you got?
Oh shit. That's his 30 seconds. Patty.
Good night. No, I'll say this. The 19th don't mean shit to me. And that's just how it is. Because I'm more concerned about these young people today, and I'm trying to figure out who in the hell gonna lead us the next 20 or 30 years. When we dead and gone, who's gonna be left? And that's what scares me the most. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we got to get every able-bodied man in the right mindset just to start putting it on these little man. Like I say, I go to the grocery store, set a nigga straight. Something got to happen because, man, we falling to pieces. And that's all I got to say.
I hear you. Okay, so what I took out of the conversation is that we had to teach our children about Juneteenth and how significant it is, because I personally know people who don't even know how horrific slavery was. And people need to know how horrific that was to contrast how much we should be grateful for today. And I think we all agree that fathering is tougher on us because not only did we come out of the slavery thing, but it's like it's a target just to make it oppressive for us. And I know that, people can say, oh, it's a stereotype, but no, there is an underlying truth to that. So if you got sons, man, prepare these brothers for this world.
Kick that ass.
No, not just that, but prepare them about, how the government's going to treat them, how municipalities going to treat them, and what freedoms that you do not have in a court.
Right.
Yeah.
No matter how much they want to tell you to. So that's what I'm taking away from this conversation. I want to thank everybody who chimed in. Misha, Maddie, Keela, B. Who else came in here? MC Hammer, Donnell Warren. They got Art, you kind of kicked up some dust with them early on. I want to thank everybody who tuned in but didn't get to say anything. And we apologize for the long gap, but life happens. We promise not to do that again. We'll come back with another banger coming up soon. But we're gonna take next week off because you know why?
It's Father's Day.
Damn.
So what you gonna do? Barbecue for everybody? That's all we get any damn way.
You know what?
Get some socks.
And wait a minute. You got to remember,
The next show,
without us, the damn kids wouldn't be here no damn.
Right. Hey, we carried them first.
Hey, as long as we don't get the traditional stuff, I don't want no brute. I don't want no Stetson. I don't want none of that.
No socks, no ties,
right. I got enough socks.
Draws.
Yeah, no draw. I mean, I like draws. Give me some draws, but I
buy my own damn draws. I
me too.
Me
too. But don't buy me no draws that. Let's just get them this.
Hey, they'll make the mistake and have you some tidy whities on.
Yeah.
Wait. They gonna go off and buy the food for you to cook. Right. That's what it is. Shit.
Hey, what's really gonna be fucked up is that when they buy them tidy whities, they gonna already come with the little brown stain in them too.
Your girl might be funny and she might try to get you some Prince get-offs, some Butlers chaps or something.
Yeah. And I don't think we want to see his ass cheeks out.
Hey, I'm good. I'll buy my own box of briefs. I'm straight.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
So, but hey, man, we did a show about how Mother's Day be dogging Father's Day, but hey, I don't know how much we could do about it. But yeah, we want to thank everybody coming on. Thank you to all the brothers for coming on. We go in 2 weeks. We'll be back at you live.
Right, and the show is gonna be about camels.
On that note,
yeah.
Peace.
On that note, you was crazy, man.
We're talking about camels now. Camels.
Camels.
Camel humps and camel necks.
Okay, we need to end this. We need.